This is the plaintiff, Edward Mitchell. He says the defendant, his landlord, told him she was going to enter his apartment whenever she wanted to, threatened to tell the cops he paid the rent with drug money, and that the place smelled like pot. Needless to say, he wasn't about to put up with the insane antics of his landlord and moved out. Now he can't get his security returned, and here they are, baby, in court. He's suing for $1,300, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Jessica Farquharson. She says the plaintiff moved out a month early on their lease, didn't pay the last month's rent, and was just about the nastiest person she's ever had the displeasure of dealing with. Bottom line, he left the place a pigsty, did not return the keys, and she's just happy he's out of her life once and for all. She's accused of being one pushy landlord.
Yes.
You are suing Jessica Farquharson, your former landlord, for $1,300 in security deposit that you say she owes you and has refused to pay.
Yes,
Tell me what happened.
Well, on April 1st, she replied on my lease that she was going to replace all the windows by April 1st. She never replaced it.
When did you move in there?
On December 1st.
Okay, and how long, did you sign a lease?
Yes, I got the lease and all.
May I see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you were going to be living there for how long according to the lease?
December 1st.
All right, now you ended up moving out a little bit early, right?
Yes, I think this is the lease.
You
Yes.
ended up moving out a month
in
before the
October.
lease. All right, and the reason that, 2 months before the lease, and the reason that you moved out was what?
Because there was no heat for me or anything in the windows. It was not stable for me to live.
Okay.
Well, I'm on SSI as well. I got multiple sclerosis.
Okay, what was going on with the heat?
I just wanted to convert it from steam to water.
Okay.
Just so it would be less money for them because it's cheaper. And I did, tell them I was going to do that.
Okay,
and
wait, just out of the goodness of your soul, or was there a reason why
it
needed upgrading anyway?
Yes.
Okay.
I was changing the boilers downstairs in the basement. It's a 3-family house, and I had to change. Not that I had to change it because the heating was working perfectly well anyway.
So why are you changing it in October?
Just because that's when I had money gathered,
right,
and I was able to do it. Because
it would have been better if you changed it like in July, right? When nobody needs the heat.
Of course.
So
but
you're
I didn't
changing
have
it
the
in
money.
October, and he says he moved out because of that. Do you have reason to believe that he's just making that up to try to get his security deposit back?
Yes.
Why?
I do have a voicemail. His fiancée, Jennifer Perez, left me a voicemail stating that they decided to move out. And this is before this whole situation happened.
Okay.
I have it on voicemail if you want to hear it.
Yes, but first I want to understand, this is before you were switching out the heat?
Yes.
Did they say why they were going to move out?
It's not stated in the voicemail, but he told me that it was because he couldn't financially stay there anymore.
Okay.
And he was moving a month before, actually.
Okay. Now, you're saying that you're moving out because there was no heat for how long?
For the whole month of October, and also for the windows in April. I want to move out, but
What are the windows in April? What are you talking about?
She was supposed to replace them. They're all old windows. Actually, basically, I had an inspector come in. They took pictures, the inspector in Jersey City, that I was actually on the neighbor's fence, and I could push in the windows with my hand.
Okay, what happened with the inspector that came in?
Well, they took pictures and they wrote down, but they said since I was moving, that they were not able to
Well, violation's
force
a
it.
violation. I mean.
Yeah, I know, but they said since I was moving, I'm not going to stay there. That's basically they can't do nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're staying there that minute. Did you get a violation?
I did get a violation.
Okay, tell me about the violation. Do you have it on you?
Yes, I do.
Let me see it. You didn't even know she got a violation, obviously?
Well, I assumed they said they were
No,
going
you
to give
didn't.
it to
You
her.
said that they didn't give it to her because you
Well,
were
I didn't know
moving.
if they gave it to her. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I didn't know.
It's all right. It's just... Come on up. Why'd you guys move out?
First of all, he used to shovel during the snow time. That's not his responsibility. Second of all, he has MS. He could hardly walk sometimes, most of the time. And, we did it because of his health safety. So, okay, fine, we let it slide. And then the second thing is that she didn't fix the windows, as she says in the lease. So she broke the lease first.
You said like the lease says. Where is it you want me to find in the lease about the windows?
It's got to be, is that part of the lease too? Yes, over here. And I got another letter here stating that she put on my door, stating that she was basically coming into my apartment, whether I'm going to let her in or not.
According to you, you have a notice, the notification from her by a cell phone message that they are leaving early. Let me hear that cell phone message and any date that precedes it.
This says it's on October 17th.
Can I see that? Okay, there's two on October 17th. I'll play them both.
My fiance and I would like to move out by November the 1st. You could keep our security for that whole November. We actually have somebody interested in this apartment, and also feel free to come to see the apartment that everything's neat and everything's left the way you gave it to us. If you could please give me a call back as soon as possible so we could speak better. Thank you.
You know what? You want to be stingy? You want to keep the security on me? Now I'm going to stay there to December 1st by law, and you are not going to my house to do none of the plumbing system. You're not going to do no heaters, no nothing to December 1st, okay? And then in the middle of December, I'm going to have the housing authorities down there to tell them how you're making me live with my animals. Thank you very much, and I am going right now to the police department in Jersey City. So thank you very much, Jessica. Have a good day.
Okay, can I see the plumbing bills?
I don't have the plumbing bills here, but I do have the letter
All right,
that he
I
did.
know at a minimum from the letter that you gave me that the letter's dated October 28th. I have on several occasions these past 3 days, 10/26, 10/27, 10/28, scheduled with you both through phone calls and in person to allow the plumbers access to your apartment so you may finish a connection for your heat. But these attempts have failed. Previous phone calls attending this matter were not answered or replied to, as well as voicemails or attempts to reach you at the scheduled time agreed on at the apartment. This notice is to inform you both that the plumbers will be entering your apartment on Saturday, 10/29, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. to connect your radiators so that you may have heat. And you got angry because you didn't want them going in there.
My apartment, yes, because she did the plumbing.
But see, here's the thing. Look, I have to figure out why you left. If I get a message, you know, she kept these, and I guess you didn't think she'd keep these or something?
No, it's okay.
fine.
That
All
was
right.
meant for her to keep.
Okay, except for that they destroy what you're saying, because you're saying the reason you left is because you didn't have heat, and I'm hearing you saying, listen, we're going to end the lease early, but we're going to get you somebody to fill it. So you have your own reasons for leaving. Have nothing to do with the heat, with being without heat. Then I've got those messages are left October 17th, and then I've got you saying, I'm going to show you, I'm not going to let you in here to replace any heat. Now you're going to have to wait till December 1st to replace your heat, to switch over the heat. So it's not really you want heat, didn't get it, and therefore you left. It's really you were going to leave, and you're angry because you feel that you were good tenants, and that just because you leave a month early, that, you know, especially if you're trying to get her someone else, that you should have been able to see your security deposit. Those are two different cases.
So can a landlord enter an apartment whenever he or she wants to? Because they own the building.
No, he can't.
Why?
Because he has to have a probable cause to get in.
He has to have probable cause like a cop? What do you think?
No, it's my property. He cannot come in and invade my space.
Even if you're the tenant and the landlord owns the building?
Yes, no.
Okay, sir?
No.
Why?
He has to give you proper notice for when he's coming in.
So you have to give notice, and once you give notice, you can come in?
Yes.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Windows on the first floor will be changed by April. Were the windows on the first floor changed by April?
Nope.
No.
I don't think you left because of that, because that's not in the message that Ms. Perez leaves about leaving. But I do have notice of violation. You moved out when?
October, maybe October 29th, almost November 1st.
And then, is there anybody living there now?
No. There will be, but not now.
All right. Was there anything else you folks wanted to say?
Well, she's basically on the tape recording when she called me, is basically stating that I sell drugs, I give her drug money, and she's claiming that she was in the alleyway, or somebody she sent over to my house into the alleyway, looking in my windows, claiming that I was stealing drugs out of my house, and I gave her all cash money. She's a waitress, obviously, and I'm on SSI, so she's claiming that I'm giving her drug money, and she said she's gonna have me followed. I actually went to the police department in order to find her.
Every time you pay me with cash, and I wonder why you pay me with cash every single month. I have the hallway of the apartment smelling like marijuana, okay? I have people who see cars driving up to the apartment so that you can deal, okay? So if you want, you can call the cops, because if you do, I will also let them know to get a permit so they can search your house. I told you specifically, if you get somebody to rent November 1st, I will gladly give you your security money back, okay? Since no one is moving in, I need that money to pay the mortgage, okay?
Why are you leaving a message like that on your? I mean, I understand he called you all angry because he's going to miss out on the money. Why are you calling and saying you're a drug dealer?
There's people like around the neighborhood that say that he's a drug dealer. Obviously, I was angry and I was furious for him attacking me, and I was fine with giving him the security money just the way you just heard. I don't mind giving it to him. If that's the way the contract was set up, I have no problem. He said December 1st, I'll give him his contract back. That's the way it goes. He was leaving the month before. Obviously, I'm going to have to keep that deposit to cover the month of November.
What happened with the tenant that you were trying to get her?
Well, he didn't want the apartment due to what he's seen and the conditions that it was in.
But what conditions was it? I mean, you can't pretend that you hadn't already made a decision to move out. I heard you on the recorder saying, Liz, don't elbow her. Oh my God, right in front of me. I didn't
Oh,
you're going to pay for that one. He's going to pay for that
later
one.
when we get home.
Exactly. Shut up. Okay. Listen, it's right on the recorder. You're saying, we're going to leave, but don't worry, we're going to get somebody there. And everything would have been fine if that would have happened. It didn't. Who do you think is going to pay the rent that month? And then all this other problem starts out, I'm not going to let anybody in here to fix the heat. And now you're going to go, I left because there was no heat. I mean, come on.
Well, can I explain something, Your Honor?
Yeah.
But I was going to move out after April when she broke the lease, but she claims on the thing that I will have to pay every month since I'm not living there if I leave until she finds somebody.
Okay, but you do understand what a contract is, right?
Yeah, that's why I stood. And I was like,
understand, but you're saying that like you did some great thing. That is what all of us have to do when we sign a lease, or else we pay the consequences. And that's not, let me tell you how it works. If you move out early in a lease and then she finds a tenant 2 months later, no, you're not going to have to pay 8 months remaining on a lease because the landlord has an obligation to mitigate their damages. So you would just have to pay the 2 months that they had to pull the mortgage out of their pocket because they didn't plan on pulling the mortgage out of their pocket because they planned on you paying rent according to the contract you signed. Now, if you have reasons to break a lease, that's a different thing. You know that because you're coming in here pounding your chest and telling me about the reasons you had to break the lease. But it doesn't look like that's truthful because of the messages that she has.
No, I know,
now,
somebody told me that.
We're done, okay? However, I am very concerned that there are windows that are a problem, that in the lease you acknowledge that there's a problem, and that apparently you can't work your way out of a paper bag to fix the windows, okay? You have a violation of the windows, clearly. So they lived there with flimsy windows. I know that there was no heat at least for a couple of days in October, and that's worth something, not much. But you are out the rent, and I believe unjustifiably so, for the month of December. So what I'm going to do is I am going to order you to return $200 of the security deposit, and I'm going to allow you to keep the rest of the security deposit for the rent. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Hold on right there. Well, the plaintiff collects, but not everything he sued for. The defendant here, how did it get this bad between the two of you?
It was just like the last month, basically. He just got angry because I didn't give him the security money deposit back. And obviously, if he was complaining about the windows before, he would have said something before and not because of the security deposit.
Well, how would you describe him as a tenant then?
Don't get him angry because he flips out. That's the only thing I could say. Apart from that, he's okay.
All right, right around the corner there, okay? Get your documents there. Okay, come on in now. So you sued for quite a bit more. You got $200 here. What's your reaction to this ruling first?
Well, I'm really disappointed.
The defendant here had called you some names. So what's your reaction to that?
Well, she's a little loony for thinking that.
A drug dealer.
A drug dealer. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Are you?
No, if I was a drug dealer, you think I'd be fighting on the court or come to court or go to the police department? I don't think so. I'm not that stupid to go and show my face on TV as a drug dealer. Okay. So I'm not that. And she discriminated me, and I thought I can get something out of that for discrimination. So obviously I couldn't.
Okay. All right, let's go to Harvey.
Okay, Kurt, landlords can enter the property without notice if there's an absolute emergency like a flood, or if it's not an emergency by giving, as this gentleman said, proper notice to repair the unit. But that can all be altered by the lease. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.